and welcome back to class. Today we are talking about partition by, and we are also talking about Windows function in SQL. Okay, what do we mean by partition by? Partition by basically divides our data into groups and perform calculation inside each group that it has divided our data into. And talking about Windows function is basically used to like rank our data. So let's say I want to rank maybe employee salary. The person that is taking the highest money can be ranked 1, person taking the least salary, so on and on like that. So pick up your notes and let's get straight into today's tutorial. Alright, so talking about partition by is majorly used with Windows function. Windows function like rank, dense rank, row number, and also we use it with some of the aggregate functions like sum, counts, and so on like that. Partition by is basically used to divide our result set into partition. By partition, I mean subsets. And then we can perform calculations on each partitions separately. You can imagine using partition by as splitting your data into different groups, more like splitting it into different folders. Okay, you pick one of the folder and you do something inside it, and it will not affect the second folder or the third folder that you have. Okay, so that's the idea behind partition by. So let's write out the basic syntax for partition by. Okay, you know we always start with the select. Then you can select, let's just call it column 1. You can select any column you want to see. You can have column 1, column 2, column 3, depending on it. And the part where you want to partition, you're going to use it together with Windows function, like I said. So you're going to call the Windows function, whether you are using rank, dense rank, or you want to use the aggregation. This is the part where you specify the Windows function you want to use. After specifying it, then you can say over, then open your brackets, and then you can partition it. Partition by. Okay, so when you specify partition by, you can now specify the column that you want to partition it by. Okay, then you can partition by, let's say column 1 for this example. After you partition it by it, you can close your brackets, or you can also decide to order it in ascending or descending order if you wish. But if you don't wish, you don't have to include this order by, it is optional. So we can order it, let me say we are ordering it by column 1 as well. Okay, and then we can close our brackets, and then we give this new function, you know, it's going to be like an extract. Okay, like more like a folder that we are trying to create. So we are going to give it a name, and you know, to rename a column, we are going to use as, right? So you can just call it as, let me just use column underscore name as an example, and then you can do from your table name. Okay, so this is the general syntax for writing your partition by. You select all the columns. If you want to see more than one column, you can select column 1, column 2, select all the columns. Then whatever column you want to group by, that is what you are going to specify in this partition by. So let's say we want to try to get the rank for a particular row. So you can put the rank, then you open and close brackets over partition by, then you specify the column you want to partition by. This order by is optional, and then you can run it, then it's going to partition the data set. Okay, so now let's see a practical example of how we can use partition by. Using partition by, let's get the average billing per medical condition. So we have medical condition here, and then we have billing amount here. You know, if you want to first like get something like that, we'll use like subqueries or CT or temp tables. Okay, so there are different ways to do these things in SQL, but you just work with the one that is convenient for you. And the reason why you have to learn everything as a beginner is because if you're going for interviews, you don't know if they are going to ask you questions on partition by or on subqueries or on CTs. So you have to have an idea of how everything works. Okay, so when you actually get on the job, you can now decide that, oh, I feel like this is the best one I like to work with, or this is the best one that will work for this business question, basically. All right, so we're trying to get the average billing per medical condition using the partition by. So we are going to follow the general syntax that we have here. So first we want to start with select. Okay, and then we'll specify the columns we want to select. We want to select the medical condition and also the average billing, right? So I can say I want to see 3 columns. I want to see first the medical condition. Okay, I also want to see the actual billing amount before I'll now get the average billing amount. So billing amount. All right, And the third column I want to see will be the average billing amount per medical condition. Okay, so because we are getting the average billing amount, not just the overall average billing amount, but we want to kind of group it by the medical condition, we are now going to use partition by, because I told you that partition by is more like we want to group. Okay, so and for our partition by, from the syntax we wrote here, we are going to have our Windows function. In this case, our Windows function will be aggregation average, right? So I can have AVG, and into brackets, I'm going to specify the column that I want to calculate the average for, which will be the billing amount. So I can type billing underscore amount and close my bracket. Okay, and then I'll say over, then open my partition by bracket following the syntax. Then we can say over, then partition by. Okay, so what are we partitioning by in this case? We are partitioning, it's just like what are we grouping by? That's what partition by means. We want to group it by the medical condition because we want to get the average billing per medical condition. So that means we are grouping it by medical condition. So I'm going to partition by, and I'm going to say medical condition. Okay, so once you're done, you can close your bracket. I said if you want to order it, that's like a preference. You can, or you may or may not do that. Okay, so now we have to name this particular column, and then in the next line we are going to specify which table we are trying to draft this out from, which is the healthcare table in this case. All right, so we can run it now. If I run it, you see that partition by will return all the medical condition, return all the column for the billing amount, and it will return the average for each medical condition. And for this first category, you can see that this is the average billing amount for the medical condition, and it repeated it throughout that first category. You can see another category of medical condition is going to get the average for that as well. So it's going to show us as 3 columns so that we can see the comparison. So we can even get the ID together with this query. So let me try to see the ID so that we can see the ID of patients as well. So you can see the ID. Okay, so we can now write like more complex queries. So that's why you have to have a very good understanding of the basics, so that when you are asked on business question that involves writing really complex queries, you know which one to use. Should I use partition by? Should I use subqueries? Should I use city? Should I use temp tables? Which one will make my life easier? And that is the one you should go for. Okay, so yeah, so this is basically how we can use partition by in a practical example using our healthcare data set, as you can see. So you can try to check the healthcare table and try to see which business question you can answer that you can use partition by for. Okay, what I showed you now is using partition by using aggregation. Okay, we can also use partition by using rank, dense rank, and row number. So now I'm going to give you an explanation of what rank, dense rank, row number is, and we are also going to use it in partition by, so you see how it works. Okay, so let's take down a quick note on Windows function, row number, rank, and dense rank before we go into the practical aspect. So the purpose of using row number is to assign a unique number to each row without regards to duplicate. So we are working in a company and we are asked to rank employees by their salary. Okay, so let's say we have employee collecting from 30k to 50k in that company. Okay, and we have arranged our data in descending order. That we have these 5 employees collecting salary. You see, if we use row number is going to rank this person 1, this person 2, this person 3, this person 4, and this person 5. These 2 people are collecting the same salary. So it doesn't care. It's going to just rank them 3, 4, even if they have duplicates. When we use rank, this first one will have rank 1, this will have rank 2. These 2 that have the same salary will be ranked rank 3. These other ones will be ranked rank 3 because they are collecting the same exact amount. Okay, so they will be ranked rank 3. Okay, and this next one now, the 5th person will now be ranked 5. So it will skip a number. It will just be like, okay, this one is ranked 1, this one is ranked 2, this one is ranked 3. So because they are collecting the same salary, this one will also be ranked 3. But this next one now, it will skip a number because it knows that it has given 2 people this 3 rank. So it will skip a number and rank this one 5. And that is how the rank function works. Okay, so you can put this down in your notes for the rank function. If 2 rows have the same value in the order by clause, they will have the same rank, but the next rank will skip a number. Let's move to the dense rank and then I'll explain how that works. Okay, so you see the dense rank now, it will assign a rank to rows without gaps for ties. Okay, that means that when 2 rows tie, they get the same rank, but the next rank is consecutive. So the difference between rank and dense rank, for rank, it will skip a number after it has given them same number, right? But for dense rank, it will be consecutive. So whether we have 535k, it's going to give them 3333, and the next rank will just follow the consecutive order. Okay, so let me recap the 3 different types of rank. The first one, which is row number will just give them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, regardless of whether there's repetition or not. Okay. While the rank will give them 1, 2. If there's repetition, like similar number, it's going to group them, it's going to put them in the same rank, and the next one will skip a number. So this one will be 5 if you are using rank. And if you are using dense rank, it's going to label them 1, 2. The one that has the same number is going to be the same rank, and the next one is just going to follow a consecutive number. And that's the difference between these three. So let's see a practical example using this data set. So you can either get your row number or your ranking without partition by or with partition by. Okay, let's try the one without partition by. So once you specify that you want to get the row number you want to rank with over, so you don't need to write partition by A, just open your brackets and you can just say order by. So they are ordering by the billing amount, right? Let's order by billing underscore amount. Okay, and then we can close this bracket. So let's run this now. You see, it's going to give us another column. I see that it's labeled in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so let's just go to where I have that number. Okay, so you can see this is exactly the same as this because they are using row number. And I said row number would just like if you just keep numbering everything, whether you have whether it is the same at some point or not. If you just keep labeling it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like just giving it a serial number. Okay, let's change this row number now to rank so we can see the difference. Rank. Okay. So if we use rank now, okay, if we use rank now, let's scroll down. Okay, you can see we have the same here. And you can see that it's written them 8. And the next one is keep a number, which is 9. So it's going to give it rank 10. And then it's going to be the one that is the same rank, and then keep a number for the next one. So if we use the dense rank now, okay, if we use the dense rank now you can see that it's giving this 7, 7, and the next one is taking 8. Do you understand? So the next one will not take a number when you are using dense rank, and that is how these functions work. Okay, you can also use this with partition by. If there's a particular column that you want to group before you want it to arrange it, so that is when you use partition by. You don't need to group, you can just use the dense rank straight up like this. Okay, if you want to use this with the partition by, you can see the partition is by the medical condition. So we're just going to say partition by, and I'm going to do medical condition. Okay. All right. So let's run and see what happens. So what it's going to do is it's just going to group it. You can see that it rearrange it. So the medical condition for this is coming first, all right? And for the medical condition, you can see that we have these two numbers that are the same 5, 5. Because we are using the next dense one, the next one will be consecutive. And this is how you can also use the partition by as well. And to bring us to the end of this class, in this class we've learned how to use partition by, how to use it with some aggregate functions, how to use it with Windows functions like def, rank, and row number. You see how we use the ranking together with or without partition by. You've also learned that in this video. I'll see you in the next video, and bye for now.